You're watching TAG TV.
Good evening, welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jaffrey. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 4th of October. India deports 7 Rohingya men to Myanmar. Pakistan violating UN resolutions on Kashmir, say activists. And Nepal's RJPN leader wants agitation if demands not addressed. And now for all the details. 7 Rohingya men were deported to Myanmar on Thursday after India's top court dismissed a petition seeking to prevent the Indian government from deporting them back to their country. This is for the first time Rohingya was sent back to Myanmar from India.
India's Supreme Court on Thursday rejected a petition seeking to stop the government from deporting 7 Rohingya men to the neighbouring Myanmar. The men had been languishing in a jail in northeast India since 2012 on charges of illegally entering into the country.
Unfortunately, the court did not listen to this and has dismissed the application, thus paving the way for their deportation.
Police took the Rohingya men to the border in India's northeastern Manipur province and handed them over to the Myanmar authorities after their deportation formalities were completed. The Myanmar authorities had already confirmed the identities of the persons.
मुझे को इतना हिफाजत के लेके आया था, सिक्योरिटी ज़्यादा लेके अपना बेटा की तरह कोल लेके इधर में अपना देश में बेच दिया, इसलिए मैं खुश हूँ, इसलिए मैं भारत का देश को थैंक यू बोलता हूँ.
Some 40,000 Rohingya live in India after having escaped earlier bouts of violence and persecution in Myanmar. The United Nations has said conditions in Myanmar's Rakhine province are not safe for Rohingya and described the Myanmar's military action as ethnic cleansing. However, Myanmar denies the charges.
In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's foreign minister on Wednesday said that the last 2 years of US-Pakistan relations have been tough and Islamabad wants to rebuild ties based on mutual respect. His remarks came a day after he met US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Washington, hoping to mend ties.
Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on Wednesday said that Pakistan wants to build relationship with the United States based on the trust and mutual respect. While addressing a gathering at the US Institute of Peace in Washington, Qureshi said that the last 2 years of US-Pakistan relations have been tough and Islamabad wants to reconnect and rebuild and focus on peace, reconciliation and stability. His remarks came a day after he met US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Washington to mend frayed ties between Islamabad and Washington.
Yes, there is a trust deficit and that needs to be bridged, and it must be bridged. We have a shared objective. The strategy to achieve that shared objective is more or less we're on the same page. So we have to trust each other. There is no other way.
Relations between uneasy allies United States and Pakistan have frayed since US President Donald Trump slashed military assistance to Pakistan early this year. The US accused Pakistan of sheltering militants who stage attacks in Afghanistan. Pakistan denies doing so and has maintained it has sacrificed a lot in the war against terrorism.
Moving on. Activists recently criticized Pakistan for violating the UN resolutions on Kashmir by plundering natural resources and carrying out human rights violations in areas under its illegal occupation. They also highlighted that Islamabad continues to support terror groups for its proxy war in the region.
Kashmiri activists strongly criticized Pakistan recently for violating the UN resolution on Kashmir by plundering natural resources and carrying out human rights violations in area under its illegal occupation. While speaking during the recent UN HRC session in Geneva, the activists also expressed their resentment over the recent UN report on Kashmir. They said that UN report on Kashmir has no mention about terrorist camps running under the patronage of State of Pakistan in Pakistan-administered Kashmir.
Pakistan is violating UN resolutions on Jammu Kashmir and constructing dams in disputed area of so-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Mr. Chairman, Pakistan has diverted Neelam River for hydro power projects, which is depriving people of Muzaffarabad from their water lifeline.
The High Commissioner seems not to be sensitive to history that ancient, but surely he must know what happened 30 years ago when Pakistan fomented its proxy war in Jammu and Kashmir by creating, funding and training terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba, Hizbul Mujahideen and Jaish-e-Mohammed.
While in Geneva, the Kashmiri activists also expressed concerns over growing extremism and terrorist activities in illegally occupied region of Pakistan-administered Kashmir. They highlighted Pakistan continues to provide support to UN-designated terrorist organization in the region for its proxy war.
In news from Afghanistan, families of the victims in Tuesday's suicide attack in Afghanistan's eastern Nangarhar province have asked the government to investigate how the attacker infiltrated the election campaign where the incident took place. The families blamed the government for uncertainty in the country and said government and its forces must respond to them now.
Families of victims of the suicide bombing that took place at an election rally in Afghanistan, Nangarhar province on Tuesday have asked the government to investigate how the attacker infiltrated the election campaign. The families blamed the government for uncertainty in the country, saying that the government and its forces must respond to them. The attack on Tuesday afternoon took place in Kama district of Nangarhar province, killed at least 14.
یو نه یو زخمی یو نه یو شهید لري به ګنا به خطا دغه شو منګه د والی صاحب محترم نه د رئیس جمهور نه دغه خواسته چې په دې کې منګه جدي سیړنه غواړو منګه دولت نه غوښتنه ده چې دې عاملین ونیسي او د قانون منګولو ته وسپاري.
Tuesday's attack was widely condemned by foreign diplomatic missions in Kabul. The UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan expressed its concern about safety around the election campaign. Since campaigning formally commenced last week, there have been several attacks in Afghanistan. The upcoming parliamentary election in the country is seen as both a dry run for the more important presidential election next year and a test of the government's ability to provide security.
More on news from Afghanistan. The UK Embassy recently organized a music festival titled Mix the City Afghanistan in Kabul city. The event witnessed Afghan artists presenting folk songs and playing traditional music.
The UK Embassy recently organized a music festival in Afghan capital Kabul city as part of its initiatives to develop music, arts and culture in Afghanistan. Afghan artists perform folk songs and play traditional music during the interactive musical experience Connecting Music and Cities titled Mix the City Afghanistan. The event was aimed at developing traditional and local music in Afghanistan, which has not seen much progress due to the prevailing situation in the country.
Mix the City Afghanistan.
برنامه یکجاسازی شاعرها جشنواره تنوع موسیقی، هنر، فرهنگ و زبان افغانستان است. بر بنیاد این برنامه برای اغنای فرهنگ و موسیقی
وزارت اطلاعات فرهنگ در جستجوی این است که موسیقی را به مسیر خاصتا موسیقی افغانی را به مسیر اصلیش سوق دهد و آن را به حیث میراث فرهنگی ناملموسه حمایت کنند.
Mix the City Afghanistan is a creative video and music project. It is an interactive musical experience connecting music and cities with end users accessing online digital music. It was originally created by the British Council in collaboration with UK-based digital content partners Flying Object and Roll Studio.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Rajendra Mehato, the leader of Nepal's Rashtriya Janata Party, on Wednesday warned the political party will launch agitations if government does not address the demands of Madhesis. He said if the protests begin once, the support to the government will be automatically withdrawn.
Leader of Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal or RJPN, Rajendra Mehato, has warned that his party will launch agitation if the government does not address their demands. Speaking at a press meet organized by his party on Wednesday, Mehato vented ire on the incumbent government for not doing anything in the past 6 months to amend the statute for the rights of the Madheshis. He further added, if the protests began once, the party's support to the government will be automatically withdrawn. The RJPN has given support to the government in Nepal on the condition that the constitution will be amended, on which Mehato said the government has failed. He also warned last month that the failure of the constitution amendment would be another catastrophe for it. RJPN party claims to represent the interests of the inhabitants of the southern Terai region, who are mostly of Indian origin and are called Madheshis.
A group of youth has started an online venture selling books throughout India's Jammu and Kashmir province. The group, from the background of technology, has started the online bookstore with an aim to make people aware about the online market and the easy access it offers.
A group of friends has started an online bookstore in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province, inspiring other youngsters in the valley to follow suit. Sheikh Usman and his friends, who live in Srinagar city of Jammu and Kashmir, wanted to start their own business venture with the motive to do something for their homeland. The group, from the background of technology, developed an app on their own last year, leading to opening of their website for books called Lal Chowk.
हमने सोचा कि यहीं पर एक वेंचर स्टार्ट करते हैं, थोड़ा सा अपने लिए एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करें, कश्मीर के लिए एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करें, ताकि थोड़ा सा एक इकोसिस्टम बिल्ड हो जाए ऑनलाइन सर्विसेज की तरफ। यहाँ पर कभी कभार बाहर की सर्विसेज नहीं चलती हैं, यहाँ पर भी कुछ आइडिया नहीं है लोगों को ऑनलाइन सिस्टम्स का, उससे वाकिफ़ हो जाए वो लोग, इस प्लेटफॉर्म को एक्सेप्ट करें क्योंकि ये फ्यूचर है।
सर, जो ये ऑनलाइन बुक स्टोर है, ये एक अच्छा स्टेप है, इन्होंने बहुत अच्छी सर्विस प्रोवाइड की है, तो मैं इनका एक रिपीटेड कस्टमर रह चुका हूँ, तो इनकी सर्विस भी बहुत अच्छी है और डिलीवरी भी विद इन आवर्स होती है।
Lal Chowk bookstore has been doing exceptionally well and has stood out with its one-day delivery service, making it more consumer-friendly. With a range of listings, the genres of books available at the store are academics, literature, fiction, non-fiction, Islamic books, among others.
Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama has been addressing a spiritual teaching session in India's northern hill town of Dharamshala. The 4-day-long session, which began on Wednesday, is being attended by thousands of devotees from over 60 countries.
Tibetan spiritual leader the Dalai Lama has been addressing a 4-day-long spiritual teaching session in India's northern hill town of Dharamshala. The session has been organized on the request of the Taiwanese Buddhist followers and is being attended by thousands of devotees from over 60 countries. The Dalai Lama imparted spiritual lessons to his followers on a discourse of entering into the middle way on the opening day of the session on Wednesday.
We are having blessings from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, where a lot of different students, a lot of different people from different countries like Taiwan, Chinese, even Western people came here to get blessings from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama.
India is home to almost 100,000 Tibetans. Exiled Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama has lived in the country since fleeing a failed uprising against Chinese rule of his homeland in 1959.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on southasianewsline.com. You can also visit us on facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.